Hello and welcome to Principles for Success. Today's lesson is the Blueprint of We, Part 1. Who the heck am I? I am Katie C. Fitzpatrick. I am one of your fellow students here at Lambda School. I joined with FSW 14, which means I joined in August. If you want to reach out, you can find me on Slack at Katie Fitzpatrick. All right, my life before Lambda. Who am I? Why am I talking to you? Well, in my life before Lambda, I became really a personal development junkie about 10 to 12 years ago, we will say. At that point, my life was super crazy. I was going through losing both of my parents. My dad passed away from liver cancer, and my mom passed away from early onset Alzheimer's. So that in combination with trouble I was getting myself into and debt I was getting myself into as a result of probably not having the best coping mechanisms for dealing with the loss of my parents, I launched into this world of personal development, which led me to Maharishi University of Management, which is a little as kooky as it sounds, but it's an awesome university. It is fully accredited, and I did study standard business management there. I just also happen to have meditation as part of my curriculum and learning about wisdom that is in Vedic literature, which are ancient Indian texts. So from there, I was at marketing and PR firms, doing project management, creative direction, client relationships. Those firms went out of business in short order of each other. My resume started to look like I was flighty. So then I moved on to having my own business. And so for the last 4 years, I think, I have been running my own online business, helping other people grow their business, essentially. So what's the secret to going from being hot mess Katie to Katie who kind of has it together? Staying curious and honest, having a clear vision, having mindful boundaries, and always having a sense of humor. Super, super helpful to me. We will get into all of this moving forward because these are not natural skill sets. They were not inborn. They are things that we develop. And we develop it by having a really good toolbox. So the tool I'm going to share with you, and you are going to have so many tools that you get to choose as to whether or not you want to put in your toolbox through this curriculum. It's not even funny. But the one I'm giving you today is the Blueprint of Me. You'll notice we started with the Blueprint of We, but right now we're doing the Blueprint of Me, which is, we'll call it a subsection of the Blueprint of We. We start here because as far as I'm concerned, self-awareness precedes all other positive growth and transformation, whether it's in your life or in your career. Let's talk numbers a little bit. A little extra motivation. It's also going to guide us through why we're doing this in the first place. So 92% of people who set New Year's resolutions never actually achieve them. I know you're totally shocked, right? But what do the 8% do differently? We already know that most people don't follow through, but why? Why is that? Well, the research tells us that the 8% are making goals that are specific and just challenging enough. They're passionate and committed to their goals. They're using feedback. They're aligning their goals. They have some advisors in their life, and they're avoiding multitasking. Well, any of you who have stumbled upon maybe a success article or two, or have taken a leadership class here or there, probably have seen this, and you would be like most of my clients. They knew the best practices, but what they didn't know was their starting point. See, all of these practices that the 8% do is part of what makes them successful, but you can't really accurately choose specific goals, and you can't really choose what you want to focus on, and you don't know who a good advisor is going to be, and you can't really get in alignment with those things if you don't know where you're starting, if you don't know who you are. See, most people I worked with, they were looking at the top of the mountain going, that's my goal. Great, that's awesome. And then they would start climbing as if they were at the base of that mountain, when in fact they were 2 miles out from that mountain, right? Not having that accurate starting point changes everything. And then they would just feel worse about themselves because they were doing everything right and then it wasn't working. So what I help them do, get clear about who they are, why they are. And then help them apply the practices that they were trying to apply in the first place. So enter the blueprint of me, helping you get clear on who you are and why you are. We're going to do a quick overview of the blueprint. We're going to talk a little bit about how to use the first section of the blueprint and next steps. So blueprint of me, you see a little document right here. This is the guide you're going to be using tonight, and you're only going to be focusing on this top section, the story of me. It has 5 sections: the story of me, interactions and warning signs, custom design, questions for peace and possibility, short and long-term timeframes. You're welcome to work through this document beforehand if you want to. This is an ongoing, living, breathing document that you should constantly be going back to, updating or reminding yourself of. So feel free to work ahead, but today we're only going to focus on the story of me. So the story of me is setting the stage for you. It's highlighting your journey up to this point. It's capturing those foundational influences, and it's positioning it in a positive way. So like if you read my blueprint, I'm going to at least have the story of me in there. I like to write out my blueprint and not type it out, but when it needs to be shared, I type it. So yeah, you're going to see in mine that I include like losing my parents in that, because that's a big foundational thing for me. And then you're going to pull out of that narrative, that journey for you, a snapshot of your best qualities, your best attributes. This is something that you can go back to when you're feeling in doubt, when you're not feeling confident, and go, oh yeah, that's who I am. I know there are a lot of things that I am not, but those aren't the things that move me through life. What moves me through life and what moves me up in my career is me knowing what I am and what my skills are, not being focused on what I am not. Because thank God we're all different. There are other people who can do what I'm not good at, right? You can do this in story format or a bulleted point list. I've seen people do it both ways. I often invite people to start with a narrative format to kind of give yourself a hero's journey. This is really, really healthy for your psychology. And then go to bullet point list for the skills and attributes. So what are the benefits? Why are we doing this? The benefits are this. First, you're leaving here trying to find a job, right? And ideally, best job ever. Don't you want that? Totally. So the best job ever is going to be one that's in alignment with you. And that's going to be, so that's part of what this story of me is about, is it's actually going to focus your job search on a subconscious level. It's priming your brain to know and recognize that which is a good fit for who you are specifically. When we use criterias that are just intellectual, like this much pay and this radius and doing this type of work, we miss critical information. So by doing these kind of personal development exercises in the background, you're priming your brain. And what it feels like is intuition, but it's nothing spooky or mystical or anything like that. It's just our brains. That's how our brains work. Priming. It's going to also reset your brain when you experience imposter syndrome. Based on how many people in the survey want to hear about imposter syndrome, based on the occurrence in the industry right now, let's just all assume we're going to experience imposter syndrome. This is one of the things that will really help reground you, because there are stories of us, right? We could tell a million different stories of us with the same facts. So this is a story, you're taking a moment to get clear about the best story of you and the best interpretation of those facts. And so when you feel like an imposter, you can come back here and go, no, this is the truth of who I am. This is who I am. This is the best version of me. And just reconnect with that truth for yourself. It's going to keep you from chasing shiny objects when things don't go well, right? We go down a shame spiral, our confidence goes down, we're in imposter syndrome, we mess something up, and we're all like, ah! We all do that. We all do that because we're trying not to be vulnerable, we're trying not to break, we're trying to keep our head above water, right? And we're like, ah! And we're flailing. And usually in that time, a lot of what I have noticed in myself and others I've worked with is we start reaching for these, really for miracle cures. We get distracted by shiny objects, or sometimes it looks like getting distracted by like alcohol or substances or something like that. What this is going to give you is a place when you feel your head going below water, whether that water is shame or embarrassment or uncertainty or whatever it is, where it feels like you're going below, you're going to have this document to reach for, a giraffe. And you're going to be able to just grab it and get back into a calm place of mind. So you're not flailing, you're not drowning yourself, and you can keep moving steadily towards that which you already know is good for you, that you maybe lost track of when you got in a really stressed state of mind. That's how our brains are. Our brains get stressed and we want to go into action, right? But that's not always what's going to serve us. Unless the house is burning down, then that's a great time to be in that action brain. Get out the door. And it's also going to serve as a place for you as you go through your job search to refuel your confidence after rejection happens. Sometimes, just like sales, this is going to be a numbers game. I hate saying cheesy, cliche things like that, but it's true. And you've got to know how to get back up again. So that's what most of this work that I'm doing with you on the blueprint is. It's really helping you get back up again. Because if you're living life full out, if you're really stretching yourself and living to your potential, failure is a part of the game. It just is. So once you learn how to get back up and get back up, then you're free to just live life full out. So that's what we're teaching you here. So next steps, we're done. We're done with the day. You're going to get the full Blueprint of Me guide. It's in this Google Drive folder right here. You're going to spend at least 15 minutes on it, writing out your story of me. And then third is you're going to share it wherever you've gotten in it. You're going to share that with your small group. Sharing it with your small group may feel awkward or scary or weird, but it's a wonderful thing to do. The more you share your story, the more you're owning who you are and where you've come from, the more you're establishing a strong sense of self, a healthy sense of self. And it's going to really help you as you move forward into the world. It's also going to give you practice talking about yourselves and your skill sets for situations when you're in interviews or when you're at networking events. The other thing it's going to do is, without fail, when I hear other people read their blueprint, even if it's just one little spot of it, I go, ooh, maybe I should add that. Or, that's not me. Maybe I need to be more clear about this part because they said that and they meant this. That's what I mean. So it helps give you clarity. All right. That is it for today. Moving forward, finish that section at your own pace, the first section. Go ahead, take a look at section 2. That's what we're going to be covering in the next video. I'm not sure when the next video will come. You'll probably have some different topics in between. This will be going out over several months, this whole series of doing things. From here, we'll move into a preview of the blueprint of we and how you can use that when you're working in collaborative settings. All right, have a great evening.